I'm so proud of you for doing this work. I'm so, so proud of you. I know I always say that, but I truly feel like I don't mother my own children. And so something that has been really meaningful to me is that I learned from an old professor of mine. She said, you know, Sarah, there's not only one way to mother in this world. And I took that to heart. And I didn't know how it would play out, but I sort of have realized over time that I get to be a mother to other people who might not have had the relationship like I didn't have with my own mother, that I can be that person maybe in your life where I can mother you, where I can say to you, you are worthy, you are incredible, you are strong and powerful and capable, and I am so proud of you. And in that way, I get to fulfill that dream of mine of being a mother in the world, maybe not in the most traditional sense, but in this way that feels very fulfilling to me. And I hope it feels fulfilling to you. I hope you feel that from me, that I truly mean it when I say I am beyond proud of you. Just by being here alone, you are showing me that you want more from your life. And you are trusting me to take you on this journey that I've been 18 years cultivating and curating and working and trying to get this puzzle to look a little bit more like what I want this life to look like for me. And all of these exercises that I share are the ones that really help to move the needle, really help me to kind of go from over here to really going in a direction that felt good and real and worthwhile to me. And I hope you're finding that with these exercises. So I hope last week you spent some time really looking, taking that bird's eye view of your life and saying, what's working and what's not working so much? And let's decide that we're going to take some action towards creating the results that we really want to see. So I hope that served you. How is your food mood journal going? Remember, it's not just about tracking what we eat. That's really kind of useless. I mean, the research is kind of showing that, sure, yes, it can be helpful for dieters. That is not who we are. What's really impactful is looking to the emotional response underneath and all around when it comes to the way we nourish our bodies. So that feeling of the emotional, the mental, the physical, the spiritual feeling that we get when we eat food, when we put things into these bodies of ours, how do we feel about it? And feel free if this serves you. And I'm going to talk more about this, I think, in future rounds, because I think that this is important too. Feel free to write down how you're feeling mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually before eating. Before making the choice. How am I feeling? I'm angry, I'm bitter, I'm resentful, I'm frustrated, I'm hangry. You know, I'm excited, I'm happy, I'm grateful, whatever it is. How am I feeling before I make the choice to nourish myself? And then what is that choice that I'm making? And then 15, 20 minutes later, how do I feel now? How do I feel now that I've nourished myself? In whatever way I've chosen to do that, how does it feel? This week is all about feelings. And so we've dived into gratitude, and we're working on a practice where we're really feeling like we are more deeply grateful for the wonderful things that we have in our lives, even the little teeny tiny things like the hot cup of coffee in the morning, the comfortable bed or pillow, the nice warm cozy blanket on the couch, our kitty cat or our little puppy dog or our spouse, our children. What is it that is making us feel so grateful? And really digging into that and really remembering that bringing more and more of those feelings out is so powerful, not just mentally or emotionally, physically too. So when we're feeling emotions like gratitude, joy, self-love, this is creating a chemical response in the body. All of our feelings create a chemical reaction in the body, releases hormones and endorphins and a cascade of chemical effects inside the body. So we know how it feels when we're joyful and we're feeling aligned and alive and vibrant and happy and hopeful and joyful, how good that feels in our bodies. And we also know how bad it feels when we're resentful, bitter, angry, hateful, shameful. How that feels in our solar plexus, in our stomach, the tightness in our breath, and just the way that it feels inside. Chemical reactions. Whether we want to agree with it or not, just like the law of gravity, our emotions are talking. It's the language of the body. So this week, it's all about getting really clear on our feelings. And if you're like me, I'm a child who suffered emotional neglect. And for a lot of people like me and people who have experienced trauma in their lives, we all have to a certain degree, a lot of us, especially those with emotional neglect, we never delved into our emotions. It was too scary. It was off limits. Our parents never put labels on emotions, never even knew to. No blame. They probably weren't taught this either, right? I don't blame my parents for not helping me to understand my emotions better. They only knew happy emotions were the ones that were to be felt, right? Smile, be happy, everything's good, right? Like not really realistic, because a child is going through developmentally all sorts of crazy things going on. Relationships are happening in the schoolyard, and things are happening on a day-to-day basis. And issues are coming up, and I was never allowed to talk about those things if they were negative. My parents even said to me, I remember one time I was a teenager, and I remember them saying, Sarah, we don't want to hear about this. So if this isn't going to be good news, or you're not going to turn this thing around, you can go and call your friends, because we don't have any interest in listening to this. And yet they were sitting there, able to bitch and complain and commiserate about my dad's work day. And, my mom sat there listening and then would pepper in with whatever she was going on in her life that was negative. They were allowed to do it. They were allowed to express some negative emotions and experiences. But us kids, no way. Why? They just wanted us to be happy and to feel joy and to have fun in life. And they were kind of like, you're 14 years old. Like what can be going wrong? Without honoring the fact that a 14-year-old is going through a lot. And I'm also being modeled this behavior from the parents. So I'm thinking that it's okay to be talking about these things, but not really understanding, no, this is not okay. And we certainly don't label our emotions. And, my parents kind of talking about their problems wasn't really getting to the root of what was going on. It was just complaining about other people and blaming. I come from a long line of blamers, right? So we really need to understand, especially if we're parents, getting down to eye level, listening, really listening to what our children are telling us, and putting labels on their emotions, putting words to their emotions so that they understand that they're all acceptable. They're all understandable. They're all okay. They are all welcome in our home. There's that wonderful Disney movie, I think, or Pixar movie, Inside Out. It's a great film, just as a reminder for parents and certainly children to know we're not always happy, happy, joy, joy. There's research to show that that tears contain stress hormone, so that we release that when we cry. We need to get it out, right? Like even when we just even say that, talking about it, like if it's all just inside, we gotta get this out. Otherwise, it's just stored inside. And somatically, we know that we need to move this stuff out. How do we do that? First and foremost, we have the ability and the luxury of honoring what's inside, of understanding that it's allowed to be there. If it is there, it's information. The feeling in the body, the tightening and the icky sore stomach or whatever you're feeling, the back pain, it's there to say to us, listen to me. There are things going on in here that need to be addressed. There are emotions in here that are lodged, that need to be released, that need to be metabolized and digested and let go. Because that's the way it goes. When we're allowed to, first of all, feel our emotions and then label them, we understand them better. Second step there is to be able to let them go. But we can't let this stuff go if we're not even allowing ourselves to even feel it or name it or experience it. We've got to go there. We've got to go there with our feelings. And that's the hard work of this program, right? I mean, sure, eating better and, moving our bodies and getting our sleep and drinking our water and all of those wonderful things, those strategies are super important. These protocols that we go through so that we're treating these physical structures the way that they need to be treated. But all of the good food and the meditating and all of the positive practices, I shouldn't have said meditating because that is one way to really get close with our emotions. But all of these practices of journaling our food and eating the food and exercising, we can do all that stuff, but without going deeper into the emotional realm to collect what's there and to look at it, to bring it up to the surface and to heal it and let it go, that is the work. And so how do we get there? A huge way is through meditation. So if meditation is yet to be a practice that you have decided to bring into your life, I really, really, really highly encourage you to allow yourself that time to go within and to get quiet. Because if we don't ever take the time to be still, it's really hard to learn the language of the body and to be able to listen and to really be able to learn ourselves and understand what we're feeling. Because again, someone like me, I didn't even know what feelings I was feeling. I didn't even know what my emotions were. I certainly didn't have names for them. I thought angry. Anger is a habit, and I had a habit of anger. I can still easily go there. So for me, my habit was just simply someone triggers me, something triggers me, boo, I'm angry. A lot of men have this as well, where immediately they go to anger. But if I don't understand what's underneath that anger, resentment, frustration, a feeling of not being heard, right? Feeling used or taken advantage of. If I don't know what's underneath, I just see it as I'm angry all the time. And I just blurt out, again, until we heal the wounds of our past and of our lives, we just bleed on other people. And for me, bleeding on them looked like this. Shut up. I'm out of here. I'm leaving. Slam, drive away, come back later and just don't deal with it until the next time it happened again. Repeat, rinse, wash, repeat, wash, rinse, repeat. Right? That was my habit. My habit was anger. And so for me, it's taken a lot of work, a lot of time to go deeper and to sit with the feelings that come when I want to just say, I'm angry, and where I want to just blurt out whatever it is, and I want to just take it out on the other person. No, I get quiet and I get underneath, and I have a chance to really understand what's going on. So that's really the work of this week, is going deeper below the surface to understand our feelings better. And when I was sharing about talking to your kids and labeling feelings, that's where when you get down to their eye level and they're expressing to you, they're angry, they're having a tantrum, they're pissed off, they're angry at a friend that did this or that, whatever has happened, that's where you get down and you pay attention. And you listen to what's being said and what's not being said. And you really try to get into their world a little bit. And then they're saying, Billy stole my pencil and I really didn't, I was really mad that he did that and it's my pencil and I just wish he didn't do that. And so you get down to eye level and you say, you know what, honey? I understand that feeling of frustration, labeling that feeling. And I can appreciate how angry you feel that Billy stole your pencil. You feel that that was a violation, that he took something that was yours that you were using. So I understand that that feels really bad, that he took that from you and violated your trust in that way. And you're so frustrated with him. But what I want you to know is that he just felt like it was his turn to use that pencil, or he really felt like you should be sharing with him. So really trying to help them understand the other person's feelings, to garner some empathy in the situation. And, maybe even using that word, I want you to empathize with Billy, that he didn't have a pencil and he was feeling really left out. He was feeling like it wasn't fair. So him taking that from you was just him trying to have some fairness there. And so I understand your feelings, honey, period. And what's the lesson here? Maybe we can learn to share a little bit better. Maybe sometime you say, I'm going to use the pencil first, and then I'm going to let you use the pencil. But it's my turn first because it's mine. I brought it from home and it's mine to use, but I'm going to be nice as a friend and let you use it afterwards. Maybe that's something you could do. Or maybe you could say, let's trade. I'll use your crayon while you're using my pencil. Maybe we can have a bit of a nice exchange there. And that's what friends do. They really share with one another. They help one another. That's friendship. You get the point. It's just really getting down to that level and understanding that these little petty things that we as parents might, I say we as parents, but parents might want to just dismiss and say, oh my gosh, it's a pencil, like really? But that to them is a big deal. I shared this experience where I had a surgery on my eye a while back, basal cell carcinoma, so the most common form of skin cancer. And it was really upsetting because it was close to my eye and the stitches didn't heal properly. I was allergic to the stitches. And so something that should have been a nothing was not just a nothing, it was a something. And it was upsetting to me. And somebody else who had had a huge surgery on their leg reached out to me publicly on social media and said, like, how dare you? Showing pictures of their stapled leg, horrible, awful stitches, unbelievable, like a huge surgery. And she said, how dare you? Like, look at this. Like, give me a break with your little tiny eye scar. Like, for real, lady? Like, come on. And it was really diminishing my feelings and my experience. Old me would have immediately felt attacked, immediately gone into defense mode, maybe even felt like, oh my gosh, seriously, like, who am I? Like, look at that. Like, oh my gosh, that's so bad. And instead, because of the work that I've done on myself, I could come back from that experience reading her words to say, I can empathize with her. She's looking at my situation to say, seriously, like, I have been through something really traumatic, couldn't walk for a while, a major healing process and everything else. And so I could empathize and understand where she must be coming from, and understanding that for her, my situation just looked so minuscule. But I also could come at it from my own perspective inside my own body through some meditation, some deep breathing. I was able to say, you know what? This is my experience. This might not be her experience. I get it. Hers might seem so much worse, but I can only speak to my own experience. And this is something new to me. I'd never had a surgery before. I'd never had an experience of something on my face. I've always been someone who was raised to know that appearances were very important. So this was a little bit traumatic for me and something that I had to work through. And I was really proud of myself with the way I was working through it. I wasn't super negatively affected by it. I was still going out. I was still coaching. I was still doing the things and feeling like, wow, I'm really kind of going through this in a way that I probably wouldn't have 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago. And so I was really excited by my own growth and the feelings that I was having about the whole experience, the curiosity I was having, the interest in it. Just, wow, this is an interesting experience that I'm going through. Right? Like, this is for me. This isn't happening to me. This is happening for me, and truly trying to take the lesson within that experience. I can't take a lesson from an experience that I am not experiencing. I didn't have a hip surgery with staples all the way down my leg. I can't tell you what that feels like. All I can know is what I'm feeling, what I'm experiencing. And I can have compassion for somebody else and empathy for someone else who's saying, you know what, your situation isn't as dire as mine, so how dare you share it? I can know that that's coming from a place of lack within them, that that is about them and their inability to have empathy and compassion for others because they don't have it for themselves right now. I can see that because of the personal growth that I have come through from the kind of work that we're doing here together. I can see the humanity, the collective humanity. I can see the sameness between me and that other woman. And so I could come back to her and say, I'm so sorry that you have experienced that. That must be awful. And I wouldn't wish that on anyone. And I'm hoping for your speedy recovery. And also, this is my experience, and I can only share my own experiences. And I'm sorry that you see this as something that's diminishing to your experience, but that's not how I see it. And that was the end of it. She reached out to me within hours, privately, which always kind of bugs me when someone publicly says things and then only privately can respond. It makes me know that they have not done their work. But that's okay. I don't need her to do her work for me to do mine. But she reached out to me privately and apologized and said, you know what, I'm really sorry. I'm in a really bad place. And this was not about you. This was about me. Something I already understood, but was so grateful for my reaction to her, not being one of, defensiveness in the moment and being super frustrated and angry and being like, how dare you, not feel sorry for me with what's going on, which was not what I was looking for. I was truly looking to use my experience as a lesson in my own life and my own experience to then just share with others. Can't we all take whatever's happening for us as a lesson? Because like Oprah talks about, our lives are a class. Every moment is an opportunity to learn, every single one. And every emotion that we're feeling is an opportunity to learn ourselves more. When we feel an emotion, because that's how we feel them, it's through the body somatically, we feel our emotions. That's the language of the body. What's going on? What is going on inside, under the surface? Because we can all do the, like a duck gliding along the surface of the water. Nothing to see here, folks. Everything's fine underneath the water. Paddle, 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 paddle. Like freaking out, right? We all can do that. What's going on underneath? What's the truth of what's happening? Listen to our emotions to find out. So many of us have tuned out our emotions for so long. I didn't even feel my emotions for so long because, as I shared with you, it wasn't safe for me to ever feel emotions. I didn't have labels for them, and it was not safe for me to come forth with emotion. Other than smile. Sarah, smile. That was the message. That was the one instruction. To be happy, to show happiness and joyfulness. The end. Any other emotions were certainly unwelcome in my home, in our home when I was a kid growing up. So when we honestly can get closer and closer and closer to those emotions and start to really feel them all the way through, each and every one, we can start to learn ourselves so much better. We can develop so much more self-trust, self-respect, self-love, self-compassion. We can say it's okay to feel these things. It's normal that you're going to feel that way. And that's another reason why we go through our life map and our life story, to go back and to say, yes, 5-year-old self, 12-year-old self, 15-year-old self, you should have felt all of those things. And yet you numbed them. For me, with alcohol, prior to that with sugar, after the alcohol was the sugar again, right? I numbed them all because I didn't know what else to do with these big emotions. I knew they weren't really allowed. But then it was like, I knew from the work that I've done, I knew they had to be felt sooner or later. And that's such hard work for someone like me and like many of you that, oh my gosh, when you haven't felt them for a long time or ever, start feeling our emotions. It's messy. We don't want to. We'd rather just drink or eat, watch TV, numb out, shop, have sex, do something. But to feel them, ugh, what does that require? It requires getting still and listening and feeling, not running away from. Every time you start to feel that feeling come up in the stomach or the solar plexus or the back or the knees, the joints, when this stuff starts to come up, it's like, oh, no thanks. I don't want to do this. No, when we start to feel the tears come, no thank you. Too painful, too icky. I don't want to go there. I'd rather just keep them down, keep them really low down. But when we do that, what are we sacrificing? Our whole lives, the experience of our whole lives. When we're only allowing positive emotions and we're kind of hiding the negative emotions or we're stuffing them down, we're not living a whole balanced life. All the colors. We're not allowing ourselves the luxury of being human and experiencing all of the emotions that come with that. So the antidote, if you will, for not feeling our emotions, for suppressing them, really is getting still. It's getting still, getting quiet, sitting in meditation. We can do it anywhere. We don't even have to sit quietly in a beautiful room that we've created with an altar and all the rest of the accoutrement. No, no, no. We can be doing it while we walk outside in nature. We can do it while we're sitting waiting in line at the coffee shop and the line's not moving quickly enough and we feel that angst come up and we have a choice to make. Are we going to be late for our meeting and get our coffee, or are we going to, just get out of this line and move on? Are we going to just deep breathe and not let this stress us too much? Are we going to understand and appreciate that we're not the only people in the universe and it's maybe our responsibility to take that we left the house 5 minutes late? Had we not, we wouldn't be so stressed in this line right now. What are the emotions coming up? When we're angry at our partners for not emptying the dishwasher or getting the kids to school on time, or, getting home at the time that they said, or doing the thing that they were supposed to do that now we have to do. Maybe we sit with that a little bit and say, maybe I don't have to do that. Maybe I let them keep that on their plate, not play the martyr role, something I've been guilty of in my life. Fine, I'll just do it myself. I do it all myself. No, I'm not going to do that. You forgot, honey, you forgot to do the laundry, and laundry is on your list of chores to do. I do the cooking, you do the laundry and the vacuuming. I do the cooking and the other cleaning, and that's our arrangement. That's something that we have come up with as a really good arrangement that works really well for us. And so when you forget to do the laundry and I don't have the clothes that I wanted to wear, I'm a little frustrated with that. And I want to let you know that it makes me feel like I'm not seen, that the things that I do aren't as appreciated because you're not taking it on to do the things that we have negotiated that are on your list of things to do. And also, if it was that important to me to have that sweater washed for tomorrow, I could have also communicated that to you instead of waiting to see if you'll do it. And then when you don't, I strike. This type of a dynamic was very common in my family of origin. And so it's something that I have had to untangle, sort of waiting for the other person to not do what I'm wanting them in my head to do, and then being able to retaliate and say, oh, see, I told you that you wouldn't do that thing. And this is another way that you're not showing up for me. And this is a way that you're disrespecting me, not appreciating me. Not healthy. I had to get underneath those feelings and look at the resentments that I had built up and look at ways that I was setting my partner up for failure instead of just deciding what is it that I want here and communicating that, letting him know the expectation. That sweater that I want to wear tomorrow, I need it washed tonight. So if that's not on your washing schedule, which I appreciate you've kind of come up with, just like I've come up with my schedules with food and planning and cooking, then I'm going to have to do it myself. And that's okay. But we need to communicate that. And of course, when I say it that way, when I let him know, listen, I need that wash for tomorrow. Oh my gosh, honey, of course I'll do a load a day earlier than I was planning on. But yeah, if you need that sweater washed, I'll get it done. Communication, huge. getting in touch with our feelings, really understanding why we are the way we are. The language of the body is through our emotions. So getting close with them is really the work that we're doing, especially this week, but we've certainly been doing it all the way along. And the way we get there, truly an amazing way to get there, is using meditation. Whatever way that looks to you, I do love to think that you would spend maybe 5 or 10 minutes in quiet contemplation, meditation, listen to some nice music, go out and for a walk in nature if that's better for you. Sometimes somatic work is better for people where they're actually moving and doing a walking meditation, if you will. Whatever feels right for you, it's time for you to get quiet and to listen to what comes, what's coming up, so that you can really understand the language of your emotions and why you behave the way you behave. So you've got a few pieces of homework this week when it comes to your homework. The first piece is what I really want you to do, of course, this entire week is around getting in touch, just getting closer in touch with what's going on inside. But really what we're doing is simply just taking note of our emotions. When we feel certain ways, wait, I'm really happy right now. Why? Why do I feel so good right now? What's just happened? What's happening? Where have I been today? What have I been doing today? What are the different things that I've accomplished? Or what are the ways that I've been thinking today that have led to this feeling of, wow, I just feel really good. Getting in touch with that. And if we're angry and bitter and resentful and remorseful, what's going on? Where are those feelings coming from? Is there something that we can look at and say, that makes sense? I can kind of piece that together a little bit. Again, especially for people like me, maybe like you, that didn't get to put labels on emotions when we were kids, and we've numbed any negative feelings for a long time, maybe numbed all of our feelings through food or through alcohol or through other ways. Really understanding, getting closer to that. So a way that I like, an exercise that I really like, is to start making a list of things that you avoid. Maybe conversations that you avoid having, maybe activities that you avoid doing, maybe thoughts that you even avoid having. What are things that you avoid? Make a list of those things. And then what I want you to do is get outside your comfort zone and start doing things and saying things and behaving in ways that you otherwise wouldn't. That'll really help you to push through resistance on this and start to feel feelings that you haven't felt before maybe, or that are uncomfortable to you, but that'll help you to really start to feel some of these emotions that might have been laid dormant for a long time because you've been numbing maybe for a long time. So get outside your comfort zone, and as often as possible, push yourself to do things differently. Read a different genre of book, go to a different genre of movie, talk to somebody that you otherwise would be taking on a new project that you otherwise wouldn't have taken on before. And then what you're going to do, I'm just reading over this homework just to make sure. So I have take on a new project that scares you, go to movies you normally wouldn't, go to an event where you don't know people. That's always a big one, to really step outside our comfort zone. Getting into a crowd of people that you haven't met before and just putting yourself out there. That's so huge, especially for us introverts. I come off as an extrovert, but truly I'm an introverted extrovert. I can do the extroverted thing, but I need to recharge on my own. So going out and meeting new people and putting myself in those positions, that's tough for me, but really, really rewarding. And then and just as a reminder that your brain is going to be like, no, you don't. Don't you dare do all of these crazy things that are pushing you outside your comfort zone. I like to say super comfy, cozy, sitting here on the couch, eating the chocolate after dinner. Like, you don't go for walks after dinner. Like, what are you doing? If you've decided that that's how you're going to step outside your comfort zone, you're going to start from now on going out for walks after dinner, because you're saying that's going to help me to really get closer to my emotions. It's also going to be good for me, to get outside and do some of that exercise and movement like we talked about last week. And your brain is going to say, no, I don't like this at all. Resistance is going to be there, but you're going to push back on it and say, no, thank you, resistance. I'm doing things differently because I want to feel all of these feelings so I can really get closer with them so that I can start really labeling them and understanding them better. And then the other piece of your homework is to use something called the feelings wheel. And it looks like this. And I'll be giving this to you in your homework. And basically the feelings wheel is an opportunity for you, like I was kind of sharing before, to go past these these primary emotions to go deeper below the surface. And so what happens is we start to, again, be able to put some labels on these feelings, not just anger, but is it resentment? Am I humiliated? Am I feeling violated? Am I feeling annoyed? Like, what's going on under the surface? So here are the 7 primary emotions, and then we go deeper below the surface from there. Angry, disgusted, sad, happy, surprised, bad, and fearful. So from there, so again, I shared some with the angry, but let's say you're sad. So you're just feeling sad. And sometimes we're just feeling sad. But go a little deeper. What's happened to get you into that feeling of sadness where the tears want to flow? Have you been triggered in some way from something that's happened? Have you been thinking about what happened as a child? What's going on? Are you feeling despair, depressed? Are you feeling hurt? Are you feeling lonely? Go even deeper. Are you feeling isolated, abandoned? Are you feeling grief? Is this something where you're just feeling like it's coming up to the point where it's, a birthday of a loved one who passed away, or a holiday where you just loved spending time with them, and you're feeling grief? Like you don't know why you're feeling sad, and then all of a sudden you say, I'm grieving. Are you moving into a new home, which can be so exciting and wonderful on one, side of the spectrum, but there's also a loss attached to that. Getting close with our emotions and really understanding the deeper root cause helps us to just heal so much more. And that's what this whole exercise is about. It's about getting deeper so that we can really label it for what it is, and then allowing it to come to the surface, move through us and out, to be allowed to be, to be allowed to exist. And again, for so many like me, it was like, no, these emotions, too messy, too yucky, too icky. We don't like those ones. We leave those way low down. No, this is your invitation to feel them all. If you're feeling happy and joyful, what's going on below the surface? Are you feeling accepted? Are you feeling playful? Go a little deeper. Are you feeling joyful or curious? Are you feeling valued? Are you feeling intimate? What's that feeling that you're having and what's causing it? Let's get more of that, right? That's where gratitude comes into play. When we're feeling super grateful for all of these wonderful things, not to discount the negative, we need that too. We need the light and the dark, the yin and the yang. But when we're feeling those good, positive feelings, let's tap into that. Why? What work am I doing right now? What conversation am I having right now? What thoughts am I thinking? What ways am I behaving in my life that are leading me to feel this wonderful way? Positive emotions are shown. The research shows us that when we feel these positive emotions, we heal so much faster. When we are feeling negative emotions and really, despair and hurt and shame and all of that self-loathing and resentment and anger towards other people or ourselves, healing slows. It almost goes to a halt. And we're secreting those negative chemicals that are not aiding our healing. And they're not aiding our best lives to come to be. We're stuck in a much lower vibration. So again, it's not about not feeling the negative emotions. It's allowing us to fully feel those negative emotions, go deeper to understand where the root cause is, healing that, allowing it to come full circle to be digested and metabolized, and then to really tap into when is it that we feel our best, and creating as many experiences and opportunities to feel those ways as often as possible. So this is all in your homework. I also have a final piece where I ask you to track your feelings by keeping a journal beside your bed And upon waking, I want you to do a bit of a body scan. Write it down. How are you feeling after you've scanned your body? So you lay there and you scan your body from head to toe, and you just kind of feel your way through your body. It takes a few minutes. And then write anything that comes, feeling a little tight in my shoulder, feeling a little sick in my belly, feeling a little, tight in my solar plexus, feeling a little bit anxious, feeling nervous, feeling happy, feeling relaxed. Whatever the feelings are, allow them to come, and then use your feelings wheel to get closer to what's actually underneath those feelings. Why am I feeling anxious? Why am I feeling so happy this morning? What's going on today? Did I have a great conversation last night? Did I have great sex last night? Did I have an argument last night and barely got any sleep and I'm just still stewing over it? Am I worried about going to work and that colleague and I who aren't seeing eye to eye and they're driving me crazy? What's going on underneath the surface? And then ask yourself, why do I feel this way? Why do I feel this way, to get closer to the root cause? And then repeat this exercise at lunchtime if you can, and at dinner time, and again before bed if you can. And just keep doing this at least for a few days. Do these body scans to allow yourself to get closer to your emotions. Emotions are the language of the body. We need to feel them so that we don't keep trying to soothe them from the outside in, but rather we heal them from the inside out. We understand them so much better. And in so doing, we understand ourselves so much better. And isn't that what this whole journey is all about? Getting closer to who we really are, peeling off the layers that society and the world have packed onto us, peeling away to be who we really are, excavating the real us at the root. That's how we do it, through the use of our emotions. They're not to be ignored. They're there for a reason. And they lead us to so many behaviors that give us clues into why we behave the way we behave, why we do the things we do, why we act the way we act. And when we raise our awareness to see what we're doing, taking that bird's eye view, being like, oh, okay, now I get it. I do this because of this. We just learn ourselves so much better. We're able to heal so much more easily. And it allows us as a habit that we can get into this so that then when feelings come up, they're not lodged inside. We allow them to come up and through and out and up and through and out. We're not saying we're going to stop feelings from happening. That's just not reality. That's not how it works. That's not how we want it to work. But we do want them to be able to be felt all the way through and gone, all the way through and then gone. Allowing our feelings to guide our lives, to be able to lead us to where we really feel our very best, and to create experiences in our life that feel really good. And to understand more deeply when things aren't feeling good, that it's okay, that we're allowed to feel those feelings. Let's go deeper underneath. Why are we feeling that way? And let's try to heal whatever it is going on in the outside world and what's going on inside our bodies so that we can create these amazing bodies from the inside out that are more resilient, that don't catch colds all the time, that heal faster, that are allowed to just have those feelings come up and out and through, and really be able to just keep being leaves on water, experiencing the joys of life, the highs and the lows, but have some more equanimity, right? That feeling of just more inner calm, inner peace. It's not constantly crazy upset, and then I'm upset over here, and I'm frustrated over here, and now I'm happy over here because I'm shopping and I'm doing this thing, but now I'm mad again, and now I'm dealing with this. It's a little frenetic. It's not the way the body wants to be. We want to be in that more parasympathetic nervous system where we're resting a little more. So meditation truly is the way in. So I encourage you, if it's not yet a practice for you in your life, get meditating. And you don't have to do it in your room with your temple and your altar and all the rest with the music. I love doing a lot of those things, but I also enjoy just times where I'm walking in nature and I'm just present in the present moment, enjoying that experience. Love you. I love you.